Welcome everyone to our workshop, and today we are going to look at some of the background why this workshop of SURF, Speculative Urban Futures, was called to be, and how we have imagined this experiment called Pilot 4, which is the work we should do in Estonian Association of Architecture. And I've called this presentation Brittle World and Architecture. Brittle meaning it can be broken. This is the workshop that has been planned, as you can see on the screen. And today I try to make a background enlargement for us to know where and why we are doing it. Tomorrow there would be two interesting presentations from other partners of the network, Roger Baez and Adria Carbonell, who are from Barcelona, and they are making another pilot. So the idea is that we then exchange the pilots. And everybody will work in their own studios or offices or home, wherever we prefer. And tomorrow we meet and can have some discussions on top of the presentations. And then hopefully 4 o'clock, 3rd of May, which is Saturday, we can all come together and have a small presentation, what we have been doing, what worked, what didn't work, and plan the future steps. Goals of this design and theory network is as written in the application: to design novel and versatile methodological frames for speculative thinking, research, and knowledge production in relation to future design, architecture, and environment. And as previously slightly introduced, Roger Baez, Adria Carbonell, and me, we have been trying to organize this type of network for quite some time. And last year we succeeded. And in that network there are 4 schools from Paris, from Split, from Barcelona, from Delft, and then Architects Association, being a newcomer into scientific research, was very well welcomed by the evaluators of this application. And we have 3 years to do it since the last December. So hopefully we will meet again sometime in 2026 to test how far our architectural languages, which we are going to investigate, have developed. And as promised in the application, Estonian Association of Architects deals with 2 research directions. One of them is called semiosphere and imagosphere, 2 concepts of meaning continua in texts and images. And the second one is future work. And here particularly the work of architects and other design-based disciplines, with keywords design, composition, and innovation. And this first direction of research can be divided into 2 areas. First of them is artificial intelligence language modeling. And this I propose to look through the concept of semiosphere, which was developed by Jüri Lotman, the professor of literature and Russian language in Tartu University. And he was particularly interested in the language models and worked on these models, which seemed to be quite relevant again when the ChatGPT and other language modeling artificial intelligences started to work immediately in a very fast pace, and even the authors or the promoters of these software really were not were astonished, as everybody else, that it worked so well. And that deals with the concept of semiosphere. And in image generation, it has taken a little bit more time than language modeling, but here similar events can be seen through another concept which can be called imagosphere. Imagosphere then predicts that our everyday life in this digital universe we are actually habiting is connected to images that surround us in every possible case. They come to us from the phones, from the pads, from the computer screen. And looking around in this table, no one here works every day without a computer screen in front of him or her. So the images are there, but even the very simple screen image of computer or the projector, as we've seen here, has a lot of complexities and, of course, is highly spatial, although it seems to be that it is just a static text on the wall. It has up and down, it has left and right, it has different types of compositional rhythms in it. And if there were several of these windows open, as it metaphorically is called a window, then of course it also has background and foreground. So this certainly is the case that images are surrounding us. And I proposed in this application to look at it from the viewpoint of art and architecture history, with a connoisseur's name there, whom I consider to be closest to my understanding of architectural theory and histories. It is Erwin Panofsky, the grand old man of art and architecture history, but then also slightly later, School of Essex, as it is called, Alberto Perez Gomez, Dalibor Wesley, and Joseph Rickwert. They are all theoreticians and historians of architecture. And what they have been particularly interested in is how the meanings within minute details of architecture or artwork really carry several meanings. And these meaning continua that migrate from one object of art or one object of architecture to different layers of time and space can be called meaning continua, because they have a continuity in them. And these can also be called genealogies, as a kind of inheritance of meanings. I'm not going to talk about the context and history of the site, because this has been forwarded to you as the planning proposal description, which has a short history, which is enough to start working with it, but also our deliberations with Andres Alver, Adria Carbonell, and the urban planner of Helsinki Emeritus, Douglas Gordon, which have been transformed into podcasts. And they give a kind of background. They are not necessarily the only source of history and proposal which we are going to deal with, but they give a kind of background. So if you have time, it would basically be a kind of extra knowledge, and I hope it will go into the continuous professional development presentations that I'm trying as a side product of this network to establish. Here is the proposal, which you have probably seen. We're going to look at the derelict railway area, which is called in Estonian Kaubajaam, or warehouse station, which is on the other side of the Telliskivi street, and then also the Telliskivi quarter and Baltic railway station have been indicated here as being part of the wider context. This is how it looks on the models of Maa-amet and its map server. and to, in a way, to boost the speculativeness of this part, I have introduced to it, which is not compulsory for you to follow, but I hope we will. I've introduced a new artery of traffic. In several of the studies that have been made for the Northern Tallinn planning proposal, it is quite clear that it is traffic-wise, it is very sadly connected to the rest of the city. One of these connections being here, the other on the other side of this building, and that's almost all from the side of the main part of the city. And that is actually quite well explained in Andres Alver's presentation, where he's talking about wider possibilities and necessities of Tallinn. And here it has been tried out that we actually can go through the existing railway mound with 3 lanes and 2 lanes for pedestrians and bicycles, and it would probably form a kind of tunnel or bridge, and none of the existing buildings really need to be demolished for it. And as a provoking injection, this recommendation has been added to the planning proposal. Now, then, as said before, we have made some of the podcasts that were sent to you via transfer, and if someone still didn't get it, I can send them again. There are three parts. This is upstairs where we discussed how to deal with this. And the pilot 4 then has several outcomes, I hope. First of all, the podcasts on planning, general planning issues, as we've discussed upstairs, but then also making of the pilot 4 podcasts. Therefore, we are going to record it and to try to make out of it a kind of extra work. Then pilot 4 lectures, which are 3 at the moment, which will be part of this program that we are dealing with. And then the most importantly, it is the streamlining of the brief of pilot 4. The idea is that every 5 members of the network have created one pilot project. And our pilot project then is about the architectural languages and future work in architecture and in design-based disciplines. And there are 4 more. Then we try to make the proposal workable, the brief added to it, and then we test it whether it works. When it's done, then I will streamline the brief again, and then it will go to another partner who will then have to implement it. As most of them are schools, it's a bit difficult for them to use our brief, and it is also difficult for us to take their brief for the next year to be tested. But the idea is that after 2 tests, we actually have a brief that then we make public and allow everybody else, as a result of this network, to be used, whether it is workshops or whether it is school programs in architecture schools of the world. Then I also have imagined that as a post-work for this workshop, I will have several interviews with each of the teams, so to see how it is perceived, what went wrong, what didn't go as planned, what was the outcome of it, what you really liked. So these interviews will also be shortened, of course, but then it would be part of the brief. And then, as a result, also I'm preparing the digital catalog of the work we are going to make, and hopefully in the autumn we can put up a exhibition, and early next year, I think, hopefully having some more finances from cultural endowment or somewhere else, we could make an exhibition of it, hopefully traveling exhibition, so that the partners can also use it. But at the moment, it is first of all seen as a digital catalog. Now, theory development. I'll try to go quite fast because we've taken quite some time already to talk and discuss, but still I'll go quickly through it. Now, the first one which I try to scare everybody in the world is the last year, April, Ed Felten, Princeton mathematician, calculated how artificial intelligence will influence people. And he took 800 different professions from the labor department of USA, and then divided all these 800 professions into task-based development. So every profession consists of several tasks, and then checked if these tasks could really be fulfilled by artificial intelligence. And if you've gone through the list, you see that it is the humanitarian professors of universities that will lose their job, or whose job will be affected firstly. And after that, the others. This is the language modeling artificial intelligence, and ChatGPT particularly was used to test it. But then comes the image generation discussion, and if you see here, it is 1.9. Here it is already several layers higher probability that these people are most certainly affected by artificial intelligence. And then we can read interior designers are the first to go, then architects, art directors, civil engineers, all the designers, even the architectural and civil drafters, all the technicians will be gone. And then all kinds of publishers and desktop designers. And of course we might say, well, we've heard it before, it never happened. And it is true. About 11, 12, there was another study how the automation inside robotics will change the workload of people in USA. Frey and I've forgotten the other guy who were doing it. And they said that 45% of US jobs could be at stake. And everybody got really, really scared. OECD ordered their own survey to be made, and that was then divided into task-based jobs. And the task-based jobs then gave 9 to 16% probability of the jobs to be changed. But nevertheless, it was quite some time ago. And it has changed, and we know every day. We just haven't calculated how much it has changed. And just to give an example about interior designers, it is not something that will come. It is here to stay. This is École, an international corporation that does the pricing project, sells the furniture, manages the project, delivers and installs everything that is needed for interior design. And it will come with deadlines, it will come with money needed, and an everyday person who thinks, why should I hire an interior architect if that can be done by myself? I just send a picture of my space or my flat or my house, and it is digitally really already designed with and populated, as it is modern to say, with high quality European brands. And there are more than 800 brands that immediately are connected into this digitalizing interior design industry. And it is coming. So if I was head of architecture school in Estonia, I would be worried actually. This is Mid-Journey, February 5, 2024. And the task for the Mid-Journey was a beach house. It's relatively simple perspective, but it can be done. It is not just an image, as it used to be 13 years ago. And here is Digital Masters. I was looking at the digital development and then Digital Masters art magazines, which there are several, really discussed how the digital world will change how we perceive and how we deal with images. And here is one guy who has been doing it. It is this Hao Ai Kiang. And he wanted to create an image of his childhood in 1981. And instead of going to an image, which the Mid-Journey does immediately now, hiding from us the three-dimensionally built-up world, he actually didn't do the image, but he was doing the architectural space where it was situated, and then used all kinds of software to make the surfaces and shadows and highlights as he wanted. And the result was, of course, a very photorealistic image, which then he could choose the viewpoint and actually manipulate it whatever way he did. So making a three-dimensional image with all the three-dimensional information in it has been quite old traditional task. But now with the image generating software or artificial intelligence, actually it is no problem to populate this image with exact products. So it is extremely easy, I would say. As an example, one can see how the prompt goes. For instance, a normal photograph here, actually you can specify the camera, the lens, the aperture, then the scale or the image ratio, and what type of image. Everything can be specified. And of course, with that can be done with ordinary mainstream image generation AIs, but if you have a special one, or the one that you have in a way schooled for your needs, then it is of course extremely easy. These are the beach houses, also a couple of months ago created, and I would argue from my previous experience that it very soon probably will be better as the mediocre architecture student or mediocre architect who is graduating from architecture school. And it can actually produce quite easily, and then it can be developed. It has certain problems with three-dimensionality, but it took only 3 days for my partner to really make or teach it already to work. Some mistakes happen, like the car in the kitchen or in bedroom on top of the carpet, but this is just a minor detail that will go away, and it will create it in really seconds. You're not going to wait ages for it. And then the question is, if an architect looks at it, of course, it depends how good we are, we can evaluate it. But a person from the street or a person in need of a project, they don't have that type of net of evaluation. So it most certainly will go into the easiest way of doing it. Then, of course, it went a little bit more dramatic, and I asked what would happen if the house would be built under our name or under my name. And these were the two results. I would not recognize any of them. But then I started to think that maybe one of the images or one of the houses we've been doing actually has been a prototype, so that it has found it, because we can see certain similarities in the main format. And I didn't find the photograph. On the other side of the really built house, as you can see on the right hand side, there is a loft type of deeper entrance, like the balcony here in front of it. So it is coming quite fast. For a more simple image-based tasks, it's rather easy. Roughly half of these gates have been made by AI, and half of the gates have been photographed. But it's still quite difficult to make the difference when we deal only with the image. And here are the beach houses that were necessary to be generated and to tweak them into a form that was asked. It takes really no time. Still, there are problems with it, as you can see. Adolf Loos, for instance, we made the test a couple of days ago. Adolf Loos building. The lower four are Adolf Loos private house from the image generating AI, and the first one was then selected and subtly very versioned, then strongly versioned as that, but it still didn't go where it should go. And then Villa Müller was already given as a name to it, and it's still we can't recognize Villa Müller there. But then with the images added to it, which are arbitrarily taken from the internet, the upper part we actually already see it has a kind of obsession with windows, but nevertheless it is there. And then Adolf Loos Villa Müller based private house, these are the upper three. So doesn't work there yet, but it will take certainly some time. And we might say that yes, it will take time, it will not come as good as it is, and it will not be fast. But think about the advertising market, and especially with the COVID, that really catalyzed the market. And we can see that in 2020, 45% of the Estonian paper advert profits went down, and even the web advertising went down 30%, because the big international offices, the providers of digital networks, really take all the advertising. It just needs one or two persons to translate into the local languages, the universal international ads. As Andro pointed out, it is also the case that this is the moment where several of the big companies really went into the ownership of parent companies outside Estonia, and they also transformed towards the international advertising markets. So actually a huge amount of the turnover inside Estonia has actually been lost due to that. So it is not really a very minor detail, and it will not take that much time as we believe. Now we have two directions to look at the artificial intelligence. First, of course, it is the capacity and the data on which it works. And secondly, it is the software or the machine learning it works with. So there is certain limitations there, what they can be using now and what is available in internet to train these artificial intelligence software. But it is also now the experience and capacity of the artificial intelligence user. And I would like to divide them into two. It is the professional user, like us, when we know what architecture is about, and then we use the artificial intelligence to simplify or to test some jobs. But then there is also an amateur user, someone who really comes from non-specialist knowledge. And as previously, it was that the majority of businesses needed some kind of education or some kind of expertise to go in. Now it is the case that everyone from everywhere in the world has the direct access to the business that is digitally formatted.